How we doing, guys? Andrew Gildea here from Mass Golf Lab at Old Scotland Links. Today we're talking about something we see on the lesson tee here all the time. Can you take a divot and take a divot in the right way? All right, so when we're taking a divot and we're working to try and get that really nice professional ball first strike and then you hit the grass in front, there's a few key things that we want to think about. What I'm going to try and do today is try and give you the simplest explanation that you can take out to the range and really work on. So I give this explanation in almost every lesson I do with newer beginner players, and it's just understanding how to change the low point of your swing. So what I'll say is 50-50 weight between my 2 feet. If I just swing this club and let it come down, you're going to see that I'm bottoming out that club somewhere right in the middle of my 2 feet. As I move my weight back onto my back foot and swing in the same way, you can see how that club is bottoming out now behind the middle of my stance. And if I move my weight forward onto my front foot and I swing that club, you can see how I'm bottoming out that club over near my front foot. So where my center of mass is has a direct correlation on where that club is going to come down. All right, so generally, in order to take a divot, we want to have a little bit steeper angle of attack. The question is, how do we change that angle of attack? And I'm telling you the simplest way forward is to understand that you need to shift your weight before and during your downswing, that our center of mass now ends up in front of the golf ball. We see so many players that end up, they say, okay, I'm gonna try and take a divot, and they get this swing where they go back and they go like this and they hit way behind the golf ball. And yes, you did take a divot, but it's not a really successful shot. And the reason is we get our weight too far behind where that ball is. And so now the club is gonna bottom out behind where the ball is. We need to get our weight forward so that that club bottoms out in front of the golf ball and we strike the ball on the way down. Now, one thing that I also have players do is when we get set up, just trying to start to understand the feeling. If you take the ball and put it way back in your stance like this and go ahead and try and hit the golf ball, you'll see that you do a much better job of getting that club down into the ground. Now you'll see, what have I done? I've just taken my center of mass and moved it far in front of where the ball is. I don't need to have weight transfer from here. The only reason why we wouldn't hit the golf ball like this is it's barely gonna get off the ground. It's gonna be really low. So what we really wanna try and focus on is, as we're swinging, we don't have a huge load up on our back foot, because that moves our center of mass too far back and we won't have enough time to get forward. So we stay a little bit more central, make a nice turn here, no reverse pivots. And then from here, we transfer our weight forward. You can see how my weight is now significantly into my left side. And if I just let that club swing down from here, you're gonna see that club is bottoming out in front of the ball. And I'm gonna go a little bit steeper on my angle of attack because of my weight forward. All right, so one more final drill that we can really work on to help us get that compression in taking the divot in front of the ball. I want you to set up a ball and line up your club inside of the ball here, so we're not actually going to be hitting the ball, and I just want you to take some practice swings. And the question is, can you swing and get the club to bottom out, so to hit the grass somewhere in front of the ball? If you can do this every single time without any issue, I promise you will end up being a pretty good ball striker. It's all about understanding your low point to be able to take that divot. Let's get that low point moving forward. So, if you want to practice taking the divots, number one, you got to be on a grass tee box. Not a lot of those around here. We've got one here. Come down to Old Scotland Links. Let's get you figured out how to take a divot and strike that ball out there just like the pros.